Wagwan, everybody. I am your Jamaican queen, Miss Y. You are tuned into How I See It TV, and this is Why Caught Alive. And this wasn't really a live, it was more of an interview that was done live and in person. CarlosKing interviewed Dr. Simone Whitmore and Toya Bush-Hatris, and there were some things that were said during the interview that I decided that I was going to screenshot from the transcript because I am not playing the audio. Your girl just got monetized and I'm not trying to get any strikes from Carlos or his team. But there were some things said that I really felt like needed to be discussed in depth. So let's get into it. So at the 32-minute mark, Carlos, in talking about, Dr. Simone and the comments she made regarding the incident that happened at Quad's home, Carlos, he brought up how something was said on his show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. And it was brought up to him it was told to him by one of his cast members. And he said that when they filmed, he basically had Martell apologize to the son of the cast members who basically brought a report to Carlos. And he said that, when whatever Martell had said to Maurice, because we know who he's talking about, whatever Martell said about Maurice in terms of the 20 women comment, he wasn't there. He wasn't in the room when it was said. But he felt that because it was his production company, he had a responsibility to have that apology filmed. And to that, I said this. I don't recall when Miss Wanda stood in Madani during that season and repeated how Sugar Mama looked like another man. I don't recall the production having Wanda sit in a scene to apologize for saying that. Do y'all recall that? So what that says to me is, so when Marceau said he had an issue with Martell saying he had 20 women and that's going to affect my kids, blah, 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 Carlos was like, okay, I can say I didn't know that was said, my bad. He said, nope, I have a responsibility to make sure that the air is cleared and that statement is retracted and that an apology is given. Why was there no apology given to both Martell and Melody for Wanda saying, one, that Sugar Mama looked like another man, and two, for Letitia also saying at that Madani event that Melody had supposedly cheated on Martell? Let's think about that for a second, y'all, and let's sit in it. Another thing Carlos said in the interview with Dr. Simone and Toya was at the 20-minute mark, 20 minutes and 16 seconds. He talks about, before we get to 16 seconds, not minutes, at the 20-minute mark, he says that what he loves about the cast of Married to Medicine is that they'll fall out, they'll have conflicts, but they'll always come back as a unit, and that's what's missing from reality TV. And he said that he has to look at his own shows and figure out some things because they're beefing for way too long and he's over it. And then at the 20-minute and 16-second marks, he says, I have to fly down to some cities, Huntsville, to get them back together. So, and then he continues on into something else. And we all know last season, Coleslaw revealed, and Carlos also revealed that he had to take a trip to Huntsville to talk to his cast. And a part of the conversation was about how the cast can come back together as a unit so that they can film the show without, regurgitating the same beefs that we've been seeing since season 1. My problem with the last season is that we saw Melody and Tisha and Kimmy and all of them getting along. We saw them, having a comeback group, kind of like a comeback group meeting. And it was almost like this just came out of nowhere. We didn't get to see the build up to that. And yes, it's important for the producer, the executive producer of the show, to say, listen, the show is on a roller coaster that's heading into a ditch. And we have to get it back to a place where this roller coaster ride is more smooth and it's not toxic. However, in my opinion, when you begin filming, it can't come across as fake, right? Let us see as the viewers how Melody and Tisha got to a place where they can be in the same room and they're not, and Tisha isn't throwing, digs. Well, in the first part of the season, when they had the comeback group meeting, or when, Melody walked in to a scene and they could hug or whatever, or when we saw, Tisha take the phone from Kimmy and say, hey, let me talk to Melody. Let us see how that came to be. Kimmy was the neutral party, right? So why not show us Kimmy saying, listen, y'all, my cancer took a toll on me, and I appreciated, more and more the friendships that I have. And I want to see my friends on a good page. So I am planning a brunch for all of us, meaning Tisha and Melody and herself, to come together and talk through some issues so that they can move forward. Now, the issues that they're talking through will be the same issues that CarlosKing already addressed in his meeting and told them, listen, that's dead. We don't want to talk about this anymore, in terms of we don't want to prolong the same beef. And then when we see them meet up for this brunch, it's okay. For the sake of Kimmy, we're going to squash it and we're going to be on good terms because life is short. That makes more sense than we get into a season and everybody's cool. Okay, what had happened? Right? But to Melody's credit, when she had that one-on-one sit down with Tisha after the first expo meeting, Lord, y'all have me saying expo. After they had that first expo meeting, and Mel said, well, I don't think I'm going to be a part of it. And then she had that one-on-one sit down with Tisha in the smoothie place. To Mel's credit, she was able to say, yeah, we're in a good place where we can be cordial, but we're not in that place where I feel comfortable just yet, being back in business with y'all, because y'all just said I was a dark soul. So Mel was at that meeting and she heard what Carlos said, but Mel said, yeah, I'm not, my fans will know if I'm faking. And so Mel decided that she wasn't going to fake it. And she let Tisha know in that scene, because y'all just said I was a dark soul, it would look so ridiculous for me to jump and be in business with y'all. And that's how it should have gone from the first go. From the first group scene, it should have made sense to us as the Love and Marriage Huntsville viewers as to why everybody seems to be getting along all of a sudden after the shit show that the reunion was. So the point I'm making basically is even if CarlosKing flew down to Huntsville and told them to get it together, he should have understood from a producer standpoint that fans of reality TV, we don't want to see, one, fake beefs, fake storylines. We want to see real conflict and we want to see real resolution, not resolution that's scripted into the show because the executive producer is over whatever beef he thinks exists amongst his cast. If the beef is real, then let the beef play out so that we can get to real resolution. And I get it. It's annoying that, especially when it comes to Letitia, it's annoying that we have to hear the same thing over and over. Mel, you tried to ruin my marriage. And there's no smoke for Martell, who was actually the one who said that Marsau had 20 women. Make that make sense. Now, at the 1 hour mark, 1 hour and 33 seconds, Carlos reveals that during the season 5 airing of Married to Medicine, the reunion, that was when he was shooting the pilot for Love and Marriage Huntsville, right? And he says this is something that he's never told anyone. And he said that Simone and Cecil, because if y'all remember during Married to Medicine season 5 reunion, Simone and Cecil, they were on the brink of a divorce. Simone basically said, when this reunion is done and we head back to Atlanta, it's over, I'm filing for divorce, whatever. And the entire cast, Mariah at the time, Toya, Jackie, all of them were talking Simone and Cecil into staying married, right? And CarlosKing says during this interview with Dr. Simone and Toya that reunion inspired him while he was filming the pilot for Love and Marriage Huntsville. And Carlos basically said that he wanted to replicate that on his own show. He wanted to replicate that moment on his own show. That's, in my opinion, that's what he was basically saying. And I thought to myself, now Melody and Carlos, they've both shared with us that when they were filming the pilot, one of the first scenes that Melody was supposed to film, her and Martell basically had a blow up, and she was telling Carlos that she wasn't going to move forward with the show because of the things that, was happening in her marriage at the time. And so I'm listening to Carlos saying that season 5 reunion of Married to Medicine inspired him while he was filming the pilot for Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I'm like, dang, so because the Married to Medicine cast helped Cecil and Simone save their marriage, he probably thought that the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast would have helped Martell and Melody stay married. And maybe it did help because Carlos, said during his live podcast with Melody that, when they got to the reunion, he was shocked that they decided that they were going to stay together. So maybe the show did help. But I feel like when Melody said she wanted to not move forward with the show, if Carlos didn't have in the back of his mind what happened on Married to Medicine season 5 reunion, if he didn't have that in the back of his mind, then maybe he would have respected Melody's wishes. Maybe they would have scrapped Love and Marriage Huntsville altogether. And maybe Melody would have left the marriage then. Right? And I think it was unfair for him to use a totally different scenario and a different circumstance in somebody else's marriage, and to use what happened amongst a different friend group and a friend group with a different mindset to judge or plot out in his mind what would have happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville. But you know what? Everything happens the way they're supposed to. And if Melody hadn't continued with filming Love and Marriage Huntsville, then she wouldn't have had Boss Baby and she wouldn't have had Sugar Mama. So everything happened the way it was supposed to, and everything turns out the way it's supposed to turn out. Now, somewhere around the 8-minute mark is where, the topic of sweet tea comes up, right? And at around 8 minutes and 25 seconds, he talks about, how he apologized to Sweet Tea if he offended her, and his intention was never to offend the girls. And my thing with Carlos is this. He plays in our faces too much. That's what I can't with him sometimes, right? Because Carlos, you did say on that Messy Mondays with Heavenly that Sweet Tea should have put eggs and babies on her vision board and not quad. That was low down. That was not shade. That was disrespect. That was speaking on a woman's reproductive health, which you have no right to do as a man. And instead of coming back and saying, I apologize because in wanting to throw fun shade, I took things too far. Instead of doing that, you came back and you said, I'm sorry, but I don't feel like Sweet Tea has the mental capacity to be on reality TV. And mark you're saying that she doesn't have the mental capacity to be on reality TV because she's calling you out for speaking about her reproductive health in the manner that you did on that live with Heavenly. See, that's prime example of gaslighting somebody. Because now you want the viewers and Sweet Tea to question their own sanity in feeling like you saying that she should put eggs and babies on her vision board isn't disrespectful. It's just funny. How is that funny? And how does she not have the mental capacity to be on the show because she didn't find those words funny? That's how you played in our face. And you're still not owning that wasn't funny. See, you're trying to say, oh, I'm just a funny guy. I like to joke. I like to kiki. So when I said it, I didn't mean to offend. But Carlos, if you were truly just saying it to be funny, and if you truly believe that was an appropriate joke, then you nor Heavenly would have moved to take that video down from both of y'all's YouTube. That's the only Messy Monday live video that we cannot find on either of y'all's YouTube. That's because you both know that y'all took it too far. And Heavenly knows that she definitely took it way too far by saying, oh, what is there to be jealous of? This little girl keeps saying I'm jealous. What is there to be jealous of? I have more ovaries than her. I have a uterus that's intact. Heavenly, those were your words before Carlos joined that live. And then when he joined the live, you kept going and going and going and going. And to Simone's point, to Dr. Simone's point in this interview with Carlos, there's a line that she doesn't want to cross. And there's a line that when it's being crossed on the show, because Heavenly crosses these lines, she doesn't want to be associated with the show. Because at the end of the day, Dr. Simone is a real life doctor. And Heavenly, who has doctor in front of her name, needs to understand that she looks horrible when she says certain things in the name of doing it for a TV show. Heavenly, you look more thirsty than anybody else on Married to Medicine, because you say the most low down and dirty things, and then Carlos is there. What did you just say, Heavenly? Not everything is funny. And if someone comes out and they clap back and they say that's not funny, and you might need to worry about your own shows because they're struggling over there, don't take offense and then come back and say, I'm sorry because I didn't mean to offend her, but it seems like she can't take a joke, so she might not be mentally fit for a reality TV show. Own that what you said was wrong and leave it at that. And I still believe, because those video clips are still out there, that Carlos needs to give a genuine apology to Letitia that isn't followed by, I was just joking and I didn't mean to offend, and that it was just fun shade. It should be, I'm sorry that I offended you. I should never sit on a platform and speak on a woman's reproductive health, especially when that woman is sharing her journey, her fertility journey. It was wrong, and I apologize sincerely. And that's where Carlos should end his apology. Because I just heard on Chef Don Don's live today. If y'all haven't listened to Chef Don Don's live today, y'all should go listen. I heard him talk about how Bro Chat, their Instagram page, and some YouTubers that I also follow, how they posted on their Instagram that someone, because they also talked about Carlos telling Sweetie that she should have put eggs and babies on her vision board. They were recapping that clip, and someone from the Bro Chat posted that someone reached out to them and asked them to take the video down. Why? And I wonder who. Is it somebody from Heavenly's team? Is it someone from Carlos' team? Because who's asking them to take down a clip that's already out there in the public domain? I reposted the clips. And I know several other bloggers and YouTubers who reposted the clips. So, because Bro Chat is a bigger platform and you don't want the world to see the low down dirty stuff that y'all said, now y'all sending people out allegedly to tell Bro Chat to take it down. No, stand in your mess. And as Melody would say, own your scandal. And apologize sincerely to Letitia. And Heavenly really and truly needs to get off YouTube and get off Patreon, because her mouth is going to continuously get her in trouble. Before I continue, y'all, please remember to like this video, share the link to this content and the other amazing content that I have on my channel. Also, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so yet. Remember that your girl has reached monetization, and my plan is that whatever you guys give to me between now and the end of June, I'll be using it to contribute to my cause to end period poverty in Jamaica. I'll be packing a whole box of period supplies that I'll be shipping to Jamaica at the end of the month. So whatever you give me through super stickers or super chats, or even if you donate to my Cash App, I'll be using that from now until June to fund that project. And if you want to learn more about period poverty, please go to my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter. I'm always going to be talking about it over there. All right, so let's continue. I am so happy that both Toya and Simone agreed that Mariah should be back on her show. See, I love women who are not haters, because only a hater would say Mariah shouldn't be back on her show. That's her baby. She pitched it. She came up with the concept. She pitched the concept. She funded the pilot for the concept. These women would not be internationally known at this point in their lives. And for the doctors, they wouldn't be internationally known at this point in their careers if Mariah didn't come up with this concept. So I was super, super happy that Toya said absolutely Mariah needs to be back on the show. And I hope that the producers are listening to the cast who are saying yes, Mariah needs to come back, and they're listening to the fan base that wants to see Mariah back on the show that she created. And if Mariah does come back, I hope that it's not with her hands tied behind her back where she now has to walk on eggshells because she doesn't want to rock the boat too hard as it relates to the cast. And I feel like, and I hope that Toya and Simone will continue to have Sweetie's back. I think when Dr. Simone, spoke on Heavenly's behavior and just the gutter stuff that Heavenly has been saying, that was a nod to Sweetie. It was a defense to Sweetie. We have to also note that Simone is Letitia's doctor, so there's some things that she can't disclose. But I was glad that Simone spoke up, because I've been asking on my Twitter, why aren't the doctors correcting Heavenly's misinformation that she's spreading on YouTube? So I was very happy to see that coming from Dr. Simone during this interview. All in all, I know for a lot of us, we don't see it for Carlos. We were disappointed with the strikes to some of our favorite YouTubers after they posted video from the live podcast event featured Melody Cherie down there in Huntsville. And we've been disappointed in some of the things that he's been saying about Sweetie alongside, Dr. Heavenly. But all in all, because I like Simone and I like Toya, I felt like this was a great interview, and it gave me something to talk about in terms of my feelings towards Carlos as the producer of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and how he needs to put more focus into speaking about his shows, which are actually failing. They're failing. Bold and Bougie, we've seen the TV deets numbers, and at this point we don't know if it's coming back, and there's a lot that should be put on display and on blast on Love and Marriage Huntsville, but we're not getting that, so we have to be on these YouTube streets, getting the real truth about some of the cast members. So I'm hopeful that for the new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, that the production team at Kingdom Reign will do better in bringing forth the truth in some of their cast members' storylines. This has been my rant, y'all. Thank you for listening. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment below so I know how you see things too. Until next time, walk good. Bye.